Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Black QuantEdge VTF here, T3 Live, and if it's Tuesday, it's the Wheels in Motion show, and we got a shortened week, so we don't have to spend too much time on too much, but there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to look at going forward for certain themes as things play out. So with the SPY monthly, still inside of the month, still there. All right, so it hasn't taken that out, but we're getting closer. And the weekly, obviously, two to the downside. And so we would see here if we can come down weak enough to come down, take this out 260, just a little bit below that. So we'll see. I mean, right now, the thing is on a lot of these things here. Gotta pick this up. We had a tight range today, so it's just a matter of continuation. We took care of business on this stuff. If you go to the 60, you're going to see this stuff we've been watching forever. Here, this try forever, and then we get the expansion up here, try them out in here, and then wham! Now we've got the bigger triangle like this. And you might remember here that this all started by looking at this outside day, right? That's the fractal try. Take them out, 2-2 reversal, and now all the way back down through there. So the question is whether we're going to be able to take all these things out, and we'll see. With QQQ, a little bit different of a story on this gapper. Good chance of going inside day tomorrow in this range, but you never know because we're moving around. Thing is, well, you got a 3-2 month down here in the Qs, and we know what that can do. Because all we have to do is ask Apple. 3-2 month to the downside. So right now that's still in force with Apple weekly. You're going to see this coming into this whole try like this. Like this, boom, here, just a little bit above 170, so you're almost there to see if we can take care of that. But, so if we go to the diamonds, and the diamonds also still inside month, but we will see if they start hitting this thing. That's will also be 3-2 down on that month if they can clock that. So the diamonds went out a little bit closer towards the lows, and all the major averages here also closes inside 60s. So that's going to be real key for tomorrow's opening to see what goes there. What's also going to be interesting too is that if we do stay inside months, you also got SMH still staying, goes down, comes there, but still inside month here. So if we don't take care of business on that, that could be interesting as well. But the things getting hit we know about because it's all over the news and stuff like that. The thing is, if they're really going to take them down, they usually take everything, right? And so what we've seen is we got XLP to go 3-2 month up, but now it's coming back in, right? This would be a problem if they don't go back into risk and they take everything off, risk on, risk off, and risk off, right? All that kind of stuff. So if we go to XLP, you're going to see stuff like Monster here, still green on the month. So a lot of these monthlies that I'll get to in a second. The weekly is going to be the issue, trying to go RevStrat week, and you had the outside day here. So that's really something I want to pay attention to see if they start jumping ship on even the XLP. Mondelez, also an outside day. All right, not the end of the world, but on the weekly, you'll see this. What is this try here? Now we're trying to get out of here to go to the highs, but if we come ripping back through here, and usually they all trade pretty much the same. So we'll see. If you go to Pepsi here, triangle out, and here's your weekly with a day and a half to go is going to look like this there. And so we want to see if they can bring that in because Pepsi on the day sets up the outside day puker if they want to go after it. And Coke, same deal, and Coke still handily 3-2 monther. You're nowhere near taking that out, which is potentially good, but now you're going outside weaker. So like I said, I want to see how they jump ship on all this stuff. Cheese ketchup, KHC, still dripping toward the lows. Will be RevStrat weaker here for another day and a half, so you can see how much weaker that is. So we'll see what comes of that. With the tech, some of the tech, MSI, Motorola, lower level try, couldn't take that out on the weekly, and this was an outside bar here. Right, and so we are 2 up, 2 down weaker here if they want to join the puker party of tech, and you've got a Momo shooter here, and you've got all this stuff to come after here, so we can see what comes of that. Xilinx gap down on the inside day, but you can see comparatively nowhere near anything, and the thing about that would be back into the 3 months, potential 3-3 or compound 3. On that. Still would be inside weak so far, so this could be interesting if tech continues to get wrecked or if it firms up. This is so far one of the better ones. Cyber Cyber goes inside weak to the downside, puker. And what that sets up here on the daily is this. You got this big daily try to get through there, and if you do, sets up it's already 3 months. So that try is going to be real interesting going forward. Today we had the gap up in Agilent, and so Agilent looking to go outside inside month, but you can see relative to the rest of the crew staying green off those earnings. We'll see if that continues or if they don't forgive it and start punishing it with a bunch of other stuff. Going into the Dow Jones, Triple M went inside day and down per last night's video, and this triangle here we've been watching for a while. And so the question is, at this point, if they start taking the Dow and the Dow starts to go 3-2 month, here you can see that they just sub-triangle them out. Couldn't make it all the way up into there. Still would be inside weak, but we can set that up to see if this goes boom, comes back through that kind of stuff. That would get them going. Goldman Sachs having all sorts of trouble here still, and that's going to be a 3-monther. Can't not be. You're just going into some lower lows. You've got IBM right now. Still be inside month, and you're inside week and down here to see if they're going to continue all of that. Johnny John. So when we look at some of the strength, once again, Johnny John still green on the week and still hammer month up. You just have some exhaustion risk up there. So on the daily, just like up in here, and you can see him outside bar in here, this outside bar here. If it comes ripping back through here, just we're going to keep an eye on all this stuff, right? Travelers also in the Dow, lower high and outside day. Make sure you always see my pointer, outside day. So this got a little bit of my attention. You got something like Chubb here, similar up in here, and still above last week's high. All right? So there's some either way on this kind of stuff should we start to recover, but there's just the warning signs that we want to look going through all this stuff. We go to the transports, and the transports here still holding up pretty well, nowhere near not being inside month, but starting to go red on the month, and there's not too much exciting over there. You have had United Airlines sticking it to them, sticking inside week right on the high. So far, United studly up there. You've got potentially FedEx here, and FedEx would still be inside week. Doesn't matter whether they can get back up into this stuff or come ripping down through here. FedEx handling inside months, so just be aware of that. If you go to CAR, C-A-R, and C-A-R, inside week to the downside. And if you go to the monthly, you're going to see this here. They want to repuke this triangle on the monthly, and you can watch that with your Hertz, like so, which is I guess not doing much. So I'd keep an eye on that car. If you go to healthcare, ANTM, and you can see how well this is holding up. Still doji on the month. Just keeping an eye on this big daily triangle like this. If this thing starts to motor through here, that's something we want to know, because we got that out of Humana, which was nice. Like so. That was beautiful. So we can keep an eye and see if ANTM wants to join the triangular party. You also got in the drugs TSRO here, bright green on the day, and coming out of the ashes. Used to be somebody way up in here, right? So if anything good comes of that, it's trying to go 3-monther, and that goes 3 month over 44.98, and it's getting close to that. Talked about the Apple, and then if you look at FTNT, we're going to get some more of these monthlies, but that's still a debacle, 3-2 month to the downside. And I'm going to get to a bunch of those monthlies in a second, because you got your GE and all the guys that we know about. XRT, retail, we saw a lot of debacles in there. No surprise. Big old monthly try, give me inside month and repuke, and now it's coming back through all that stuff. How do you time that? You go like this. Triangle the out, triangle the out. Boom, right there. And so now you're just moving through that. CVS, you can see this on the weekly going 2-2 back down if they want to get back into this try. Still green for the month, all right? But like I said, a lot of this stuff we're keeping an eye on to see if they join the party, if the market stays weak. As you can see, Walgreens coming back into that range on the month. The weekly here, the 2-2 back down. Whole bunch of this stuff down in here to come back through if they want to hit them. TJ Maxx getting lumped, and that's 3-2 weak to the downside, but That's why you got to look at all time frames, because of gaps and now potential inside day. But it is what it is for the next day and a half of trading. Tractor Supply looking real interesting here. And so this Tractor Supply on the month, the potential 3-3, the weekly looking like this. The equal tick, so that's two back in, and you can see that trine. If you go to the daily, you're going to see it clear as day like this. If we can get this baby going like so. Deckers, more retail, and you can see this big old daily trine. If you go to the weekly, you're going to see it like this here. And once again, we just saw that on the 60-minute SPY, triangle, expansion, and then once you get back through, the hopes is you can expand it even further down in there. So I'd keep an eye on this Deckers. Brinker EAT, and you can see this here, a little tighter, trying to form inside week. It is still 2 to the month to the upside, so you can give that the credit there, and it can still try and go back up through this stuff. But certainly, when people are asking me about the triangles and drawing them, like that's why I come here. I'm going to draw a ton of them for you. All you got to do is copy them. Jack in the Box, out of the ashes, and Jack in the Box is 3-2 week to the upside. Not everybody can say that, and it's also trying to go. Stay 2 month back to the upside in the tighter try. And by tighter try, I mean this. The slight higher high, back through them. Lower low, back through them. And there's your try. So far, Jack in the Box trying to be a stud. DDS. Dillard's, you can see this a little bit clearer. Not so big. Let's see this here. Triangle these guys out like so. It's already a 3-monther. If it wants to start coming back through this stuff, still inside on the week. All right, so be aware of that. But it would be 3-1 and potentially 3-2, 3-1-2 down next week. AutoZone now potential 3 weaker, and these guys have been holding up real well. And we watched this try the whole way through. Now the question is, do they join the retail rack and come back through all this stuff and go 3 weaker? You can watch that with O'Reilly's. Like so, AAP, if they want to join the retail rack. Ulta, still month and upper, just exhaustion risk coming up into here, and so you just want to be aware for next week. This is a 3 weaker, all right, off the highs. 3 week if they want to come after the Ulta. And then some more consumer stuff. Whirlpool is actually 3-2 weaker to the upside here, and close to going 2-2. Month are back up, a little grindy, but we'll see what comes out of that. Also looking to see, if the utilities give it up, and you've got the XLU just kind of sitting here, and you got AEP here, nice and bright green. But then on the day, NEE does one of these outside. So if they start hitting the Utes and the REITs and all that kind of stuff, that's something we're definitely going to want to know about in XLP. And if they don't rally everything else. Dominion still 3-monther and still hanging out there, so it's a 3-monther to the upside, so we'll see how that goes. With the REITs, OHI here still coming up in this greater try, and that's 3-2-monther there too. And you've got letter O still 3-2 up, I believe. NEE, no, just letter O, and NEE goes inside day, so we'll see if there's anything of that. Crude oil, puke. All right, and crude oil, what's that on the month? 3-2. 3-2. Boom, 3-2, and so that's still puking. If we go back to the daily. And daily gets out of this range and rebukes. And so what's interesting there is we don't have a lot of oil stocks on the lows as yet. We got natty gas, though. You guys, this thing is just going to be hairy until it calms down, and so we're going to use that intraday stuff. And you got a hammer counter shooter daily if you can keep an eye on that. But if you go to some of the oils, you're going to see like PXD still inside weak. You got all these guys to come after. All right, so the monthly, it's still 3-1, and it's still green on the month, so that's something you can pay attention to. Fang Energy here, still 3-1 in the month after messing with them forever. And here, how's she going to resolve? And you can see this weekly here. See if we can get the measured move and expand out this triangle and puke. EOG also still an inside week. in the potential 3-2 monther down if we can get that going. APC. Right there on the 3-2 month down if we can get her going, and you can see what, like the other ones, was holding on to inside week and now starts to break. So I want to see if we can get those other guys either this week or next week. Amarada Hess, if you take a look at the big monthly, you're going to see this big old monthly try for the potential 3-2 puker back down through that stuff. More healthcare a little bit. Amgen, and Amgen still inside month and one of the few and the proud and the above last week's highs. And so is Lilly. Here, so a couple of those druggies holding on just a bit. So if we go to the monthlies, and we're just going to use the 3-2s because we still have, I said an XLP and a bunch of stuff like that. You still have Coke is 3-2 months, so we can give that credit, even though we're on guard because of the dailies and stuff. Just Coke, still 3-2 month to the upside as of right now, holding on barely. Is Tesla as well. Tesla's still 3-2 month, not by much, but it is. Merck, still 3-2 month to the upside. The thing about Merck's is it does this potential 3 weaker, and that could be potentially back into the greater huge try in here, so we keep an eye on that. Verizon here, and Verizon actually came in on the daily, but on the monthly, still 3-2 to the upside, and if the daily, there you go. Now you got that problem, right? So some of this stuff countering all that. If we go to Mosaic, Mosaic comes in a tad, but Mosaic still 3-2 month right now. Letter O we know. MLNX for right now, but starts to come in with the rest of the tech gang. And this is why you want to look at all the symbols, because it's trying to counter by going inside week back down onto that 3. Clorox, another one to keep an eye on, an XLP, still 3-2 there, just comes in a little bit on the daily, and the weekly it's potential 3 or compound 3, and so that's all the kind of stuff that we want to keep an eye on. If we go to the downside on some of these monthers, give me 1 second here. Oh yes, so sometimes you'll hear me, or many times you'll hear me talk about the triangles becoming support and resistance, never a flat line. And so sometimes you can go way back in time and you'll see, ta-da, NVIDIA from the 2016-17 triangle to the tick. NVIDIA's 3-2 month are down now, and like I said, you just got to watch those dailies because rally's back. So what's the next 2? If we go to Apple, we know SQ now goes outside month to the downside, 3-2. Rig, more energy, 3-2. Netflix, 3-2. BSX on today's gap going 3-2. CRM, Schlumberger with the OIH, Halliburton, all this kind of stuff to see all these oils that have already kicked in, and that's what I'm showing you the ones that haven't. MRO has, Roku, Boeing, Noble Energy NBL is 3-2. JEC, we might be 3-3. Yep, 3-3 for the JEC. Conoco 3-2 on the monther. So you see the energy theme if we can keep them going. WLL, GoDaddy, Lulu, retail, cyber we know. Sorry. Just doing a little scrolling here. Not easy putting all this stuff together in no time. Okay, I think that's going to do it though, because we've got a holiday, so we've got full session tomorrow, 3.5 hour session on Friday. So it'll be very interesting here is that if we can't get out of today's range, and in many cases I would say that's possible, we could have an inside day, and then there's 3.5 hours of an inside day break where they wrap up the whole opening and close all into one cheapo options. Potential illiquidity, which could mean some good movement. So for now, that should set us up because we got a shortened week, then we got an exhaustion week, and we'll see what comes of that. But obviously, most things going to the downside. On guard to see all the things that aren't yet going down to see if they rotate back into that. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the In the Black QuantEdge VTF here with the Wheels in Motion Show.